Let us pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the office of leaders and county assemblies for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with the abundant favor as your servants whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important trust in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Honorable members, in regard to our standing order number 32-2, I'd like to request the quorum bell to be rung for the first 5 minutes. Honorable members, I'm not able to spot the whip, but I can see Honorable Nerea sitting in for the majority leader. Please confirm if we have quorum.
Madam Speaker, we are still less with 6 to make a quorum.
Honorable members, so as per standing order number 33-2, I'd like to request the quorum bell to be rung for 8 minutes. Don't you confirm quorum?
Madam Speaker and honorable members, I want to confirm that we have attained the sufficient quorum to transact.
Clerk, can you please take us through the order paper of the day?
Thank you, Madam Speaker and honorable members. Order paper number 273 of Wednesday, 26th February 2025 at 2:30 p.m. Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Honorable members, it's statement time. Next order, clerk.
Commencement of business. Order number 8, motion. Debate on the governor's address to the county assembly, the second sitting.
Honorable members, this is a continuation of our previous sitting discussion on the governor's address to the county assembly. And I'd like to remind you that as per our House business schedule that was tabled yesterday, the House agreed and settled on having 3 sessions. So I'd just like to alert you that this is the second session we are having, and we only have 1 more session tomorrow. Yes. And just a reminder on the time limit on debate on this particular matter. Every member is assigned a maximum of 10 minutes. So the floor is open for the debate. Yes, Honorable Kennedy Ouko.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I beg to contribute to the motion on the governor's address. Madam Speaker, the governor's address is an obligation, and it is backed by law under County Government Act of 2012. Madam Speaker, it is very important that when the governor addresses the county, we pick on issues, especially those which are relevant and those which are not relevant, and we make them better. And that forms part of our duty as the oversight role given to us by the Constitution. Madam Speaker, I stand here to applaud the governor for allowing for the recruitment of 111 extension officers. Madam Speaker, it was a gap which was felt by the people, especially Agriculture Department. And having found that all these officers are now on the ground, Madam Speaker, it is unfortunate that we don't feel them. We don't feel them, we don't see them. It would be advisable that whoever is in charge of the Agriculture Ministry to sit on these people so that they can come down and we feel their presence amongst the people. Madam Speaker, it is quite unfortunate that the governor has been instrumental on promotion of cotton growing within Kisumu County. And there was a projection of what is to be produced and the number of acres put for cotton growing. Madam Speaker, the governor outlined very clearly that 1,200 acres were put for production, and they were expecting 960 tons. That was what was expected from 1,200 acres. But Madam Speaker, you realize 210 tons only was what was actually realized from this. This is a big shortfall. I think this is where now we need the extension officers to put our farmers to task, and they also be put to task so that we realize our objective. Madam Speaker, we have a mechanization of agriculture, which is also very important because we can't do farming without probably tractors. And remember, Madam Speaker, it is not advisable, as alleged by the governor the other time, that there's some organizations camping within our county, especially from Nandi, to help our farms. We need to get our own tractors. We need to get the 8 tractors, because you remember Kadibor now is also a sub-county. So we need our 8, at least we should start from somewhere. We should not just, you can remember in central around Obunga, we have good farms there. We can also, it can also help us. Madam Speaker, it is true from the recommendations of the Assembly and through the Committee of Education, we recommended for employment of ECD teachers. And this has been confirmed truly that due to lack of fund, which we also understand, the governor has allowed for the recruitment of 100 teachers, and I think the letters are going on now. We really appreciate that, but we urge that we be given opportunity to employ more so that we bridge the gap. Madam Speaker, we also know very clearly that the government has been instrumental in development of the vet policy. You know, this vet policy, it is ring-fencing all the activities within TVETs. And this document will streamline the operations of our TVETs, which was not there before. We must applaud that. But, Madam Speaker, at the same time, you must pinpoint that we need to increase funding on our TVETs so that we deliver accordingly. This is also very important. We may be having very good policies, but without funding, proper funding, we might not achieve a lot. Madam Speaker, on health issues, we have a lot of challenges. Remember when the health account managers for the health facilities were coming here, we realized we have a lot of challenges. This may be because of lack of proper funding, and if it is possible, the level 4s should be funded accordingly so that most of these facilities they can deliver. We realized we had some challenges, like most of these hospital managers, they lack knowledge on accounting. And remember, level 4s are procuring entities. At least they have to be taken back for some kind of learning so that they understand even the basics in terms of accounting. It is very important we do that. Madam Speaker, I would like to echo some of the comments from my fellow MCAs, like concerning the rig. We realize the governor has tried very much to bring water very close to the people by digging, by drilling some boreholes. And we understand the borehole machine, which is the drill, is outdated in terms of ability to drill effectively. It is advisable that we, the office of the governor, through the Ministry of Water, they do a request to the assembly so that we can give them, apportion them money to do a proper machine so far. So it is also very important. We note that. Madam Speaker, we have done great in terms of our road network, although we have a lot of challenges. But we had a very good idea, which was outlined by the governor, which was machine-based. Madam Speaker, when we put money on machine-based, it can do a lot. It is a remedy, especially at the time most of the contracted works are not done. So I would suggest that we structure the machine-based program so that it serves its purpose. Madam Speaker, we also have issues of land, which the governor talked about. We are in the process of consolidating a lot of land, which is to be controlled by the county. But we must also accept that the land ministry has not been doing better, because we have some lands which were donated to the county, and there are no issues concerning these lands. Madam Speaker, if we can fast track the transfers of these lands, which have no issues, we will achieve something. But Madam Speaker, you realize when we had the land ministry waziri here, they had no plans for that. But these are people who donated land and they don't have any claim. But suppose maybe grandchildren and great-grandchildren will come up, they will now start claiming these lands. So it is important that we act fast and transfer these pieces of land. Madam Speaker, we realize the governor also talked about the markets, developing of trading centers and the department. Madam Speaker, when you go around Kisumu, you will see several markets. We appreciate governor for that. But Madam Speaker, you find that the department which is developing all these markets, they don't have authority over these markets. You may be having Kanjo controlling the market at the same time. You may be having the revenue officers controlling the market. So at times, we need some harmony. We need to see the role of the trade department. We will need to see the role of the revenue department, and probably the Kanjo as enforcement in the system. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I beg to support. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Eunice Alando.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also rise to join my fellow members in giving their interrogation in the governor's speech. First of all, I want to thank the governor for the well elaborated and to the point speech that he presented before us as a county, as a county of Kisumu, and also County Assembly of Kisumu members. I realized that all the department, since the governor joined this county, has been touched and developed. And I just want to go straight away on the Department of Agriculture, being a member and also a chairperson of that department. all that the governor presented before us, the information provided was categorical, and we cannot miss maybe few challenges here and there. And you realize that the governor informed that the department recruited 111 staff. And I want to inform this House, from my perspective, that the productivity of the newly recruited staff and their impact on agriculture growth in the county is not really seen. Again, we have an institution that is ATC Papnam. The work is ongoing, but there's a delay in completion. Delay in completion and administration of students to disseminate agricultural knowledge and skills. It's taking too much time. There is also delay in information of regulation to operationalize agricultural facility improvement financing act, that is Act 2023, to improve performance of facilities such as Maseno ATC, name them. We also realize that the department need to constantly involve and inform the county assembly on the projects being implemented, so that the members should be at par with the implementation. There's also another challenge, that is poor extension services, lack of farm capacity building, hence farmers could not efficiently utilize the fertilizers and seeds distributed. Madam Speaker, there is also weak collaboration and involvement of the county assembly on the project being executed. Again, under the same department, there is underfunding to the sector and inadequate support to cotton farming in the county. Now, we realize that the farmers who are doing the farming, the production cannot be they cannot reach the expectation because of due to the underfunding of the cotton farmers. There's also underfunding to the sector and inadequate support for the poultry farmers in the county. You know, you may maybe empower a poultry farmer with the poultry chicks, but if you don't give the education and also other drugs that the farmer may use to take care of the chicks, maybe the chicks might die, all of them, or just a few may survive, but not the exact number that was given. I also realized that there is no policy strategy mentioned to caution fish cage farmers from the seasonal fish kills in the lake due to upwelling in the lake. There is also underfunding to the sector and inadequate cold chain facilities in several beaches in the county. And finally, there is slow maintenance and repair of the tractors at CMC, motors for over a year and not completed. And that you realize that most of our farmers, they just borrow tractors from other counties because ours are stuck because of that slow maintenance. We also realize that the poor management and maintenance of the county tractors at Rabur AMC, denying farmers access to subsidized farm mechanism services. With those few points, I rest my case and
Yes, Honorable Zakokwe.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, thank you for giving me this opportunity to contribute on the State of the County Address of the year 2024 by our own Governor Professor Peter Anyang' Nyong'o. Madam Speaker, I have in my mind, I had a lot of issues to address in the governor's speech, but because of the time constraint, Madam Speaker, right, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So, Madam Speaker, allow me to start with the Department of Agriculture, Irrigation, Livestock, and Fisheries Department. Madam Speaker, indeed, our governor elaborated so much and had a lot of information in regards to this department. Madam Speaker, as we all know that Kisumu County is one of the counties which are bordering Lake Victoria. And Madam Speaker, it has been realized that every time in a year, there must be what we call mass fish death in Lake Victoria. And Madam Speaker, I want to say this, that the community living along or depending on the business which is done in Lake Victoria are not happy with the leaders they elected, because it seems we have not stood with them, or we have not come up with a solution on these menace. So, Madam Speaker, as one of the leaders or MCAs who are bordering Lake Victoria, you remember Central, and I know you know Central Kisumu ward. My ward is just adjacent to Lake Victoria. Madam Speaker, I would want the county government of Kisumu to come up with what causes the death of fish in Lake Victoria at some period. In fact, the community or the fishermen have even started blaming or pointing fingers to some of the institutions or companies which maybe do business and maybe sometimes discharge their waste to Lake Victoria. So this may at one point maybe bring tension between the community and the companies or the factories which do business, and they also employ our people. So, Madam Speaker, I would want the Department of Fisheries
to be specific, to go deep into this to know why fish die in Lake Victoria. I sometimes hear they say it's suffocation. I wonder how sometimes the oxygen, fish lack oxygen in the water. So we would want to know, as a leader coming from this community, the community are waiting for answers to know why these things happen. Madam Speaker, allow me also to say something about the bursaries and scholarship. Madam Speaker, it is in the public domain that there is a circular which was received from the COB instructing counties not to disburse bursaries to secondary colleges and universities, because that is not, it was not evolved, or that is not our function. Madam Speaker, I want to say this categorically, and I believe honorable members will agree with me, that since the initiation of this program, we've done so much, and more so to the needy students who come from very, very families which are not able to take these students to school. I believe so many members are aware that some of the students are in national schools, of which if this takes effect, then these students will have to drop or come back home and will have to be relocated to other schools. And this will affect the students' performance. So, Madam Speaker, I would suggest that if at all this has to come to pass, then I would beg that the current students who are being sponsored by the county government scholarship be left to proceed and at least complete their study so that they can finish and enjoy the benefit of the scholarship to the end. Madam Speaker, I want also to say something about the VTC and particularly the Rotary. This is one of our own, and I want to say the Rotary is doing so well. And when I heard the governor also appreciating what Rotary is doing, then also give them a plus on their performance. Specifically, Madam Speaker, on the issue of driving school. Madam Speaker, you know, so many young boys and ladies drop out either in class 8, which is now will be grade 9, or Form 4, which I don't know how it will be called at that point. But some of them just decided to join the border sector because they have no otherwise. So, Madam Speaker, this driving course will allow these young ladies and men to have the driving knowledge so that they can get maybe employed in driving cars around in any sector, be it private or companies which would want drivers. So I would also say Rotary is doing good, specifically on that course, and I believe the Madam Principal who is heading the Rotary is also performing very, very well. Madam Speaker, allow me also to touch something, to say something on Department of Lands, Housing, Physical Planning, and Urban Development. I know my colleagues also contributed on this department, to say, as we all know, this department is an enabling department for any development which is supposed to be done in our county. But Madam Speaker, this department has failed us so much. We are running into 13 or 15 years since devolution was enacted. But I want to inform the House or tell the House, Madam Speaker, that since the inception of devolution, Madam Speaker, the department has not identified the lands which belong to the county. And this has also brought us to a situation where we realize that the departments go as far as buying land for other development programs, yet we have lands which can be used on such programs, Madam Speaker. So it's like we are spending money on something which we have. So, Madam Speaker, I would want this to go in records that the department must pull up their socks so that they can identify these lands and have data. And if there is any development which is required to be done, they get into the specific lands. Madam Speaker, because I know that my time is over, thank you, but maybe if I'll get another time, next time I'll say something. Oh, okay. If I still...
Honorable Zach Okoyo, your time is up.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I support. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Moses Achele. Which can we the word?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to join the queue in contributing the governor's speech. Madam Speaker, it was a speech. It's a speech which was read last year towards the end, and I think it moved the county, it moved the House, and probably that's why members are eager to debate on it. Madam Speaker, first and foremost, may I commend the governor to have eloquently give the speech covering all areas of concern in this county in terms of development, growth, and future prospects. I think the governor did well in presenting everything before the county. Madam Speaker, that said and done, I want to say that some of the technocrats working in various departments in this government are not serious when they are presenting issues and substances to His Excellency, the Governor. There are issues which I think they just tabled to make Governor know that their departments are doing something based on the way members have contributed and the way I think things are going in this county. Certain areas are not correct. One, Madam Speaker, I had the Department of Roads mention that they've covered about 1,000 kilometers of roads in terms of machine-based. Madam Speaker, if this department was true to what they presented to the governor, then they should have given the governor the breakdown per sub-county. How many kilometers of this road was done in Nyakach? How many kilometers of this road was done in Nyando, and so forth. So that as people representatives in Nyando, we will actually be witnesses that what governor gave is a true picture of what happens in our sub-counties, which comes down to our wards. But this is a scenario where the machine-based project is majorly based in one sub-county. And then they give us a lump sum distance covered, to be over something shared in the county. How do we share? How many of these kilometers was done in Nyando and how many was done in East Konawidi? It is 0, Madam Speaker. In the Department of Water, Madam Speaker, the speech talks of the rig having done a marvelous job. Marvelous job, I'm a witness that in Kadibo sub-counties, the rig has never visited it. The rig has never visited Nyando apart from Wanjikawasi ward. The rig has never visited Moroni. Now, when we talk of rig to have done a marvelous word, Madam Speaker, then I think you are throwing us to electorates because they'll assume that when we come here to support others to get benefit of these machines, we clap for them, and then when doing reports, collectively, we own what does not benefit our people. That, Madam Speaker, I say no, the rig has not worked in my ward, it has not worked in my sub-county, it has not worked even in my neighboring sub-counties, Madam Speaker. And a lot has to be done about the rig. Another member talk of even looking for funds to buy a better rig for one sub-county, or a better rig for one sub-county and a half. No. The rig is a cash cow, and I detest any proposal to purchase another one. We must effectively look at ways of the one we have serving all electorates of Kisumu County on equal basis. All wards, all the 35 wards must be served, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in the same department, I think there's laxity in supervision. And the best supervision which was done last financial year, Madam Speaker, was not by the engineers from that department. The best supervision was done by the oversighting authority, that is the Committee on Water. We went down and realized a number of dirty things on the ground. And in the speech, they say a number of projects have been completed. But in the report by the committee, which physically visited these sites, most of these things have not been done, Madam Speaker. So I think there's a lot of misinformation to the governor. And it is this house to inform the governor that actually these people are misleading in reporting. Madam Speaker, I have an issue with the Department of Agriculture. The chair has just elaborated some of the loopholes. And these loopholes, I think it is high time they are corrected. Madam Speaker, recently, last financial year, the county hired over 100, agricultural extension officers. To date, nobody can come here and tell us what these people are doing, what these officers are doing, and where are they reporting to. Some of them were recruited concerned with the wards. Some are in charge of sub-counties. In my ward, I've never met any agricultural extension officer working or even looking for my office or even looking for a farm. So I don't know whether they were employed to be consolidated at the headquarters, or they were told that just enjoy your salaries and be at home. Or are they lacking the tools of operation? I've never felt their effect, I've never seen them, I've never met them, and I don't know what the hell they're doing. When that advert was put in place for people to apply, I celebrated because I thought for first, members of the public who lack technical know-how in agriculture will get these services. The rice season ended, those services were not met. Right now, people are plowing. The farmers need to be educated on the right seeds based on the climate change you are facing. None of them are on the ground. Now, Madam Speaker, why are they earning the salary? Why are they recruited in the first place? The same last financial year, Madam Speaker, these are simply appropriated funds for the repair and maintenance of 7 tractors, if I'm not wrong. And the department gave their word that once we appropriate that money, the problem of plowing, cultivation will be a thing of the past. The tractors will be properly managed. I don't feel the effect. I don't know where they are, and I doubt if they are operating. And I think, as the chair of agriculture, I heard the chair of agriculture mention it, I think she's equally wondering if these tractors are equally positioning, because if you go to Gatito, there's a bin of tractors from Rift Valley. And this is the point where our farmers get tractors. Go to the where we expect farmers to get the government tractors. You'll find one, or if you find them, they are grounded there. Why did you appropriate? Is this money properly utilized, or it is still pending at the treasury? These are questions which we need to ask, and we get answers accordingly, so that we also have ways and means of responding to these type of questions from our electorates. They had us shouting of appropriating a lot of money. Now the tractors are not there. Did you approve the appropriate, or it was just a common music by this house? Madam Speaker, I think we need to rush and expand the food basket in this county. Several ways of expanding the food basket when the crop season is gone. So some of these things, Madam Speaker, should be accurately reported. And finally, Madam Speaker, we as people from black cotton soil, we have a problem, and most unfortunately, we represent very vast wards where doing a road is very expensive, because the roads first, they are very long, they are in black cotton soil, and then, Madam Speaker, even if you do the road properly, one rainy season sweeps the entire maram away. Madam Speaker, I want a different reporting. How we report on a road from Upper Nyakach, Seme, some of Kisumu West roads should be different from how we report certain roads from black cotton soil, and also from vast roads like the wards in Moroni, some wards in Nyando, so that the record we put in place is accurate. In the Department of Governance, Madam Speaker, there is a number of issues, and also this issue of village administrators. We had a breakfast meeting sometimes 3 weeks ago. Madam Speaker, this issue of wage bill, which I think my counterpart should have talked about, the chair labor. The village admins are out of offices, not because the assembly
Honorable
refuses.
Honorable.
But Madam Speaker, just give me 0.1 as my brother normally requests. 0.1 second.
Order.
I just finalized on this report.
Order. I want to remind you that your time is up, but I'll add you 1 more minute so you can summarize.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the word out there from the executive is that the assembly has denied some of these county citizens an opportunity to serve as village administrators. That fact is not true, Madam Speaker. The employer in this country, the sole employer in this county is the governor of this great county. And if he is advised by economic advisors that the finances, we are not doing well in terms of our finances, and he says anybody on contract, leave alone village admins, anybody on contract, once your contract ends, you count yourself out, Madam Speaker. Then some of them go around mentioning the assembly to have been the stumbling block in the deployment of VAs. I think that is wrong, and that is misrepresentation of facts. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Kelvin Orado.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. May I also use this opportunity to talk or contribute on this great speech by the governor of this great county of Kisumu. Madam Speaker, when the governor was reading this speech on the 13th of December, there are some words There are some things I had that to me was like a big surprise. I thought that the governor maybe was referring to another county, but not the county where I'm also a leader, Madam Speaker. And it forced me to inquire and get more information. And maybe the governor, being the head of the county, some of the things were being given to him as accomplishments, but they don't reflect the true picture on the ground. If this speech of the governor was to be read in my ward, I'm sure nobody will be clapping, because some will be even crying, because to them it will be like a PR, just a public relation. And especially with the roads, Madam Speaker. I think after this wonderful speech, it forced the governor to act and even change the executive member representing the department. Because some of the information given here were mere PR to make it look like there's a lot that is happening in our various wards, Madam Speaker. I want to say, or also echo what Honorable Ochele has just said, that you cannot equate and say that our roads are the same in terms of BQ, in terms of how they're being done. A road in Kisumu West, maybe with the one from Kisumu East or area like an area like Koloa East or Koloa Central, you'll realize that the type of soil and the expectation and maybe where they fetch maram, the distance can make it so much expensive to build a road or to make a road in Koloa or Kano compared to other areas within the county. So looking at the distance that was being said, that was done by the department concerned, I saw that it was not enough. And it did not reflect the true picture of what we have on the ground. As I stand here, Madam Speaker, as an elected leader, I'm being criticized left and right just because there are no roads in my ward, and everyone needs to see a road being done. I know it cannot be done in one day, but if you look at the report from the department, it does not show the true picture of where we are as a county. And for that reason, I tend to disagree with part of that, especially from the Department of Roads, Madam Speaker. On the issue of education, which is another department, we have several schools from my ward, and I believe the entire county, that still need ECD classrooms. Most of them are pathetic. The other time I saw Honorable Opar sending me a message that she received from one of the schools that she taught, asking her to participate by contributing for one classroom to be built, as in the community are doing a rambe to build an ECD classroom. And we have a county government that's supposed to cater for that. But due to finance, sometimes we tend to understand, but the community members are really crying. If you go to Terra today, comprehensive school, you realize that their ECD is not even worth to be called an ECD under city or under ward like Koloa Central Ward, just because much has not been done. So we cannot blame the county per se, but we want to say that we still lack a lot of facility and infrastructure in place. And I believe that the person in charge of the department should take note of various ECD classrooms that are in pathetic condition. They report and they make sure that they can also budget for that. Apart from relying on maybe the ward-based project, there are those that the department is supposed to take keen interest and budget for that, Madam Speaker. On the same Department of Education, I'm seeing Rotary doing well in terms of VTC, and we have many students from various wards within the city and outside the city, outskirts of the city, many students coming to Rotary, and others are even renting houses within wards within town so that they can go to school, which is a good show. That increase in number. But at the same note, we have a very good VTC in my ward called Akado, where we have also students and the facilities are there. I wish the county can also consider that when you have a very big population and small lecture hall, sometimes we'll be doing disservice to most of our children. If we don't have enough materials for practicals, we'll be doing disservice to some of these young brains that we are trying to develop. So in that, I will really seek indulgence of the CEC member concerned of the department to consider even pushing other students to join a card of VTC, which is also within the city with an enrollment of 500 and can be able to accommodate around 1,500. So if Rotary will be overpopulated, those who will suffer are our children. So for that reason, the county, headed by this CCM education, should think outside the box and see some of the nearest VTC to assist in supporting Rotary so that we can also grow. Finally, Madam Speaker, the Department of Sports under that ministry, little is being done. I don't know because we have less amount of money budgeted, but little is being done. And I beseech the CC member to consult widely and come up with programs. I've visited other counties and you realize that the department is one of the departments that can reach the common mwananchi to understand that there is a county government. Having tournament per ward, budgeting for those tournaments, making sure that people can participate and appreciate that we have a county government, giving women challenge so that they can play netball and other games so that we can see the social part of this county government of ours. We cannot have a county that is only known within the headquarters, the CBD, and in most cases, there's no actual activity, social activity that can unite people. So I think this Department of Social Sports is one of the biggest departments that can reach every corner of our world when they come up with good programs. So for that reason, Madam Speaker, I believe that the department should look for a way on how they can rejuvenate itself and to make sure that they have good programs that can reach the people and they support the governor. Some of these things that they're doing, they're making even the governor not to be popular, Madam Speaker. I would like to see a governor going to North Nyakach Ward or West Nyakach to go and just watch a football, maybe in a tournament that has been organized by one of the department and give out gifts and presents. But if that is not being done, then you are doing disservice to some of our people who want to see the social part of the world apart from the roads and the water or maybe the hospital infrastructure that we are doing. Madam Speaker, apart from those that have said, the speech was good. The governor actually made a nice arrangement. So on that very day, people complained. Those who went there, those who we invited, were not even given food. And there was a lot of struggle. So next time, if they plan doing that and they think they have proper preparation, they can use the Tomboya venue. But if they know that they are a little bit disorganized, let the governor do the speech in the assembly so that we don't have unnecessary struggle. Then we find people abusing members and even calling governor names after missing food. That was in a bad show. And I beseech that next time, those who tend to organize such an event, they should make sure that some of the people they bring forward will always look for transport and also look for other things as small benefits that can encourage them to attend such a function. Meanwhile, we are approaching the budget period. Some of the negative things that we saw here, I believe that we are going to see them in the budget and to see that our county is moving forward. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yes, Honorable James Omolo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, allow me to also air my voice on this governor's speech. First of all, I want to thank the governor for elaborate speech on our state of the county. And as a legislator, I want to say I'm very proud. There are good things which have happened, I think, for the past 2 years. And we really want to applaud him for showing leadership and changing this county for the better because we represent the people and these people need services. Mr. Speaker, on ECD, as a county, we have not done much in terms of ECD classrooms, and I think this county need to pull up the socks on delivering ECD classes. Most of our children are really learning in very pathetic conditions. We have several ECD centers which have not been developed. In this county, over 653 centers are there, and you still find that we don't have enough teachers for the 653, while we have over 696 teachers. So that means that there are centers which have more and some centers have zero. It is high time that the governor and the Department of Education rationalize so that each at least have one teacher, and it's good that recently they have recruited more teachers, 100 number, so that each and every center has someone to take care of the learners there. On bursary, Madam Speaker, all has been well, and the scholarships have been running. This year, we don't have scholarship for the Form 1s, but I believe that we can still give bursary to the needy students in the entire county. Madam Speaker, recently I think the COB was against this, but this is one of the social deliverables to our electorates. It is not that this is not our function. As a county, we are mandated to see that we uplift the social capacity of our people. And giving them bursary is not like we are supporting the secondary schools or the TV or the universities or whatever, but we are uplifting the social status of these people. That is the aspect why we have the bursary fund, to really make sure that a child who didn't have something to go to school with now have money to go to school and uplift that social status. So it is a social kind of, it is not about supporting the secondary school, which is not our mandate, and I hope it will continue. Madam Speaker, there's this thorny issue of the machine-based for the roads. Now, Speaker, we have machines which were bought by the county funds. We have the trucks, we have the graders, the excavators. Madam Speaker, how they have worked and the kind of figures which were given by the governor as wholesome several kilometers is not really okay, because the distribution is not fair enough. And again, even if you check this financial year running, they are nowhere to be seen. And we had also voted money towards that. So it is something which is being misused. And as Assembly, I think we will not watch that happen over and again. We really want services to our people. Our roads are in very bad state, and we cannot manage them with the CRF money or KRB money. We need to have the machines do some of the works. For those lighter works, like repairing a road which has been done 10 years ago or 5 years ago, it is easier to maintain it using our machines. It is easier to do them.
Information, Madam Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Nerea.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want just to inform my honorable colleague that I know we are just coming back from recess, and as a chair of the implementation committee, he needs to remember to be properly dressed for him to address the House. Otherwise, we may excuse him, Madam Speaker, one, because he just came back from recess, but he should remember that the House needs to be honored and given the dignity that it deserves. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, sorry for that. I think I'll continue. Thank you very much. So I think we need to streamline the way the machines work. There are some places in this county, like when you go to Southwest Nyakach, part of West Nyakach in Upper Ndingo, where machines can really do work so easily in terms of grading or just opening up the the roads up there, because you don't need a maram. They are already marammed by God. So these machines need to be put into good use, and the same goes to the rig. Madam Speaker, I think one of my colleagues have mentioned about the rig. This rig has never touched somewhere near my ward, maybe a neighboring ward or in my ward. But from the report, you see the government uploading how it has done several boreholes. You wonder where these boreholes are. So this is something which is really is not acceptable. And if the abuse continues, I think we will think otherwise about the rig, because it was bought to serve the entire county, not specific places, and maybe scandalously be used for some other purposes which are not really concerning us. So I think when we meet as Committee of Water, that has to be addressed so that we don't get it wrong. Madam Speaker, on Floka, I want to thank the Governor. It has been elaborated in his speech. Floka is doing a great job in this county in terms of water and environment and climate change. And a lot is ongoing, and they only need to speed up. Their process has been very bureaucratic in terms of tendering and awarding the contractors to go to the site. For example, I was in lot 13. Up to now, there is no contractor yet to my ward. And you see, we have completed that financial year. We need to focus on the next financial year. So some of us are still waiting for the Floka projects to kick off, while they should have done it by end of last financial year. But I think this can be rectified because the Floka money is ring-fenced. It can't go anywhere. So that's the beauty of it. I want to thank the Governor for reporting about the GIS system, because this is one of the key things that will make this county get good revenue in terms of mapping all our lands and also the private lands for that purpose of development. In terms of revenue, this is a very big game changer, and the Ministry of Lands, the Department of Lands has done so well to equip the GIS lab, which is a very huge step in the right direction and can give this county good revenue if put in good use. Madam Speaker, on matters municipalities, we have 5 municipalities inaugurated recently, but the operationalization is not really yet. We voted some money. Up to now, I think they are still struggling, and I think that is not fair for them. They are our babies. The city is really a giant, but we need the 5 municipalities in this county also to crawl and walk in the future. We had voted some money for each of them. We need them to be operationalized so that every part of this county also feel the development. And this comes with goodies in terms of World Bank funding. Just the same way Kisumu is doing a lot in the city, with the municipalities in our rural setup like Maseno, Kombewa, Bodi, Aero, and Papunditi. You see, we will attract those kind of funding to come to our locals up to Moroni. That is a big game changer, and let them just be operationalized so that things can go well with them. Madam Speaker, I beg to finish at that point. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Peter Basso.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I also rise to add my voice to this governor's speech. Madam Speaker, I want to commend the governor for good operation and of this report. Madam Speaker, from this report we can see many exciting things, and one of the major ones that caught my ear is about the biometrics. I think we've always complained about the skyrocketing wage bill. And I think through this, we are going to get the real numbers of of the staffs that are serving this county. All along, I've always encouraged the department concerned to do the forensic audit of human resource of this county. And I think through this is a big step ahead. The second one, Madam Speaker, is the work being done at in the health department, majorly at UTRH, that is Russia. I think the current CEO has really done a marvelous job there, and it's a good sign. And ours is just to support that good work that is being done there. There is a new face there, and I think if you compare the last 2 years with the recent things that are being done there, then I think you will notice so many changes. And on the other hand, in these other health departments too, there is a work being done, and I want to comment that. Madam Speaker, I think the county assembly of Kisumu, we've really supported the policies of our good governor. And governors also have good intentions for this county. But now where we get the problems is when the implementers, that's where I think some departments are still lagging behind. And I think they should rise up and do as per what the governor stands for this county. Madam Speaker, again, I want to commend the Department of ECD. All along, many ECDs on ECDs, we've always lacked the human resource services, and I think with the numbers that were added, I think we are heading towards the right direction. Madam Speaker, with those few remarks, I submit. Thank you.
Honorable members, the floor is still open for the debate on the governor's speech. So I'll still give a few more minutes. I believe the silence means we've exhausted the debate for today. And with reference to our standing order number 25.5, the motion is still open for debate for the next session as per the debated House business schedule. So with this, I'll declare this session adjourned until tomorrow, Thursday, the 27th of February, 2025 at 2:30 p.m.